should probably go to sleep. We've got a big day tomorrow.
Finally, I thought you'd never shut up.
Right, well, see you in the morning.
See ya.
What was that?
When it comes to licensed video games, ones that are tie-ins to pre-existing media like TV shows or movies, there's never been much hope in them actually being, good. There are some exceptions, like my beloved Battle for Bikini Bottom, but usually they tend to reek of short turnaround times and microscopic budgets. Winx Club has had a few games since its 2004 debut, with most of them being handheld entries that can be described as existent. You've got your side-scroller games, your dress-up games, your mini-game games. It's like Mario Party, but worse, I guess. Naturally, being diseased with an unfathomable love for this fucking fairy-filled franchise, I've played my fair share of Winx Club games, and I'm happy to report they're fine. My favorites tend to be the ones involving a bit more action, where I get to play as the Winx and fight monsters, but they're usually quite underwhelming, and in terms of aesthetic and gameplay design, leave a lot to be desired. I enjoyed Quest for the Codex and Mission Enchantix on the DS, the latter especially because they didn't make those insufferable minigames mandatory. I swear, if Tiny Me had to endure another game of trying to protect Flora's fucking plants, I was gonna set the Elfia greenhouse on fire myself. Saving Elfia for the 3DS looks like those games, but worse. And based on Season 6, so no fucking thank you. And I have utterly no interest in the mobile games. My phone is a source of stress, and I refuse to game unless it's on a dedicated console or handheld. And just the genres of the games, no. Subway Surfer clones, no thank you. Also, fuck microtransactions and fuck Butterflicks. But my favorite Winx Club game was based on the very first season, the PC game. I think this might be the first Winx Club game too, so wow, it's only been downhill from there. You can only play as Bloom, sadly, but you actually get to explore Elfia. Well, like 3 rooms of it. But you also get to explore entire levels based on different episodes, like the Black Mud Swamp, Cloud Tower, Twice, the snowy wastelands of Domino, or Sparks, and also the Palace. It's far from perfect, but it's definitely the kind of game that I would love to see for Winx Club. Sadly, Rainbow isn't even making a Winx Club show I genuinely want to watch, and hasn't since 2009, so I accept the fact that there is no hope. Shout out to that Roblox fan game that my server always yells about that I will never play because I still don't know what a Roblox is and it scares me, and also Rainbow is probably gonna murder it in its crib. But with my Steam Deck, I have been able to emulate the PS2 version of this original game, along with the Game Boy Advance version that I also enjoyed as a kid. And so today, I would like to talk about both versions of this game, what I enjoy about them both, what I utterly loathe, and how I would like to see this used as a foundation for my dream Winx Club game. Would it be a Tales of style JRPG set across the worlds of the Magic Dimension? Duh. Do you guys even know me at this point? Before we begin, ciao! If you're new here, my name is Thomas, aka the Unicorn of War, and I make videos about whatever the fuck I like. Animation, games, any media that I can never shut the fuck up about. I share my experience and opinions with you, and you listen because you have nothing better to do while washing your dishes, I guess. If that sounds up your alley, then be sure to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications because YouTube hates creators. Also, please consider, if you're willing and able, pledging your support for myself and the channel over on Patreon. Patrons get access to early videos and scripts, Patreon exclusive content, and the private Union of War Discord server. Now, without further ado, let the chaos commence.
You know, Bloom, at Red Fountain, we learned that a specialist's identity is sealed within his body. When we're forced into battle, the enemy can trick us so that we get confused. But at Red Fountain, they teach us how to discover our true nature. It's the most important lesson we learn.
Well, I'm not a specialist, so that really doesn't help me at all.
The Winx Club game, published by Konami and released in 2005, is a pretty straightforward action platformer. Playing as Bloom, you move through levels collecting gems and opening treasure chests, and launching glittery fireballs of death at monsters from throughout the first season. After the first level in Gardenia Park, your hub world becomes Elfia College for Fairies. From there, you go through 5 different levels. the Black Mud Swamp, Cloud Tower, Red Fountain, Domino/Sparks, and Cloud Tower. Again, the story is basically just an abridged version of Season 1, with Bloom discovering her magical powers, the Trick stealing Stella's ring, trying to get it back, beating the ever-loving shit out of Diospro for trying to steal your man who was really her man, fighting the Tricks, Bloom getting her power stolen and then realizing she is indeed a magical girl princess, and romancing Sky/Brandon in very awkward proto-dating simulator sequences that I always forget are there until I am forced to play them, sitting there in awe of how Sky's model looks like the love child of a spindly goblin and a mannequin.
Well, I have to go now, okay?
Already?
Yeah, I can't waste any more time here.
Fine. See ya.
I get to be mean to him. I feel so happy. The graphics are certainly of their time.
Oh my god! What is that?
It's not easy to translate a unique art style like Winx's into 3D, where the characters' paper-thin waistlines look like yossified slender men. At times, it looks like they're just staring off into space, especially Flora.
I think I've made some good friends.
Stella looks like a disheveled corpse reanimated haphazardly by a budget necromancer.
What a bunch of bitches!
But for the most part, they're not too horrifying, and I actually really like the designs of all the environments. The levels are far too linear for my taste, but I do dig the liberties they took to make the levels more visually interesting. Black Mud Swamp, for instance, starts a bit similar to the show as your standard green swamp, but it's a bit more eerie with a faint fog and claustrophobic trees, along with giant bug enemies that have scarred me for life. As you proceed, it gets later in the day, so the second area is soaked in sunset reds, creating a more somber, tense atmosphere. There is this section you have to navigate through giant Quietus carnivorous plants, which I love. That feels like a really nice nod to and adaptation of the original plants, which were just vines trying to strangle the specialists for being trash.
I've always wanted a miniature Quietus carnivorous for myself.
Those plants are sound sensitive, right? At last, Musa will have to keep the noise down.
My music is just noise to you?
The final area takes place at night, with you navigating circular paths until you reach a muddy clearing where the hunting troll is wreaking havoc. And I love the atmosphere here. The faint yellow-green lights from the glowing flowers, the looming purple darkness and shadows. Yes, just more of this, please. The other levels sadly are not as cool, but I do appreciate the effort to make them interesting. Gardenia Park suddenly has this giant mountain you get to climb, at the top of which Stella is busy fighting Nut. I guess Bloom's a rock climber now? Insert Miley Cyrus's The Climb.
It's the climb!
Cloud Tower really gets to shine with how many areas they give you access to, like the library with a giant central pillar you have to turn, which we have all definitely fallen off of because the sadistic camera decided to trip us up for funsies. I do wish we got more levels, like the fact that we don't get to go explore Magic City is such a disappointment. Being an abridged version of Season 1, this game feels like it's missing a lot of connecting threads and iconic moments between plot points, especially towards the end. And being a game from the 2000s, you've got relics of the popular platformer and collectathon genres. You get stars and gems scattered throughout the levels, and there are little white markers too, which you can use to reveal secrets through a slot machine minigame. Okay. Would be fine if not for the horrible sound that it makes every time you try to use it. I don't enjoy having to turn down my speakers every time I do this. You don't get much for collecting these, sadly. Just some extra slides in the Ophia library for concept art, which I guess is cool. I would actually love seeing more concept art from the show, but like, girl, that's it, really? The gems, meanwhile, can be used to buy extra outfits, which I think is a far better reward, but I still wish there was more. Like maybe an in-universe shop where you can buy extra rewards and abilities, or some kind of new game plus or cheat feature that alters how the game plays. There are also a few side quests you can do, like finding Minotaur hair for a guitar string from Musa, don't ask, or books on discipline so that Griselda can find more effective torture methods for her students.
I'll be testing some of these ideas out on your Stella.
Nothing groundbreaking, sadly. At the very least, some side quests will reward you with new outfits created by game-exclusive character Luma, the Fairy of Fashion. Might I say, killer design, excellent name, and Veronica Taylor, God bless. Eat your rotten heart out, Season 6, Stella. The gameplay is... meh. The platforming isn't very fun since Bloom's controls aren't all that precise. It's far too easy to wind up missing a platform and fall to your goddamn death, especially in that swirling lake of swamp slop. That bit gives me nightmares, man. At times, it feels like Bloom's shoes are just coated in grease and she's just slipping and sliding everywhere. The combat is also fine, nothing major. You get to like throw 3 energy blasts at a time, and you can charge up an AoE attack and you can create a shield. There's no cost to any of these moves, so it usually boils down to just spam the attack button with the auto aim feature all the while you dance around, trying your best not to get killed. You can gather fireflies, raising what's called your fairy level to gain new abilities in boss fights. And there are also these things called dragon seeds, which increase your health. The real enemy here is the camera. It just moves on its own, automatically readjusting itself as you move, and it sucks. I never like these kinds of cameras as they'll always fuck up navigation as they swing themselves in all directions. Even when you try to move it, it'll just swing itself back to where it just was, like the camera itself is telling you to go jump in a river and die, or jump into the swamp slop. And weirdly, it doesn't go full 360 degrees around Bloom. If it rotates too far in one direction, it will stop and not let you go any further, and so it has to rotate back around like a car steering wheel. And God help you if you're ever trying to move the camera up, it refuses to look at the sky. Much like I refuse to look at Sky. Look at him, he's hideous. If you're wondering if you get to play as the other Winx or transform, sadly no. Well, kinda. Boss fights are the only spots where you transform, but you don't actually get to fly around freely. Instead, the boss is at the center of the arena, with you flying in a circle around them, usually with the other Winx. Here, attacks do cost you points, with you gathering energy from blue and pink crystals left around by attacks, but also losing energy if you accidentally fly into black crystals. There's a little bar on the side that lets you yell at one of the other Winx to get off their ass and do something, and in the final boss, lets you summon the Great Dragon to nuke Icy. It's, again, fine. That's really the word of the day, fine. But it leaves a lot to be desired. I get they probably weren't sure how to go about the way transformations and flight would open up gameplay options in 3D space, but there had to be more fun, interesting way than this. And I do get that Bloom is the main character, but not being able to play as all of the Winx really sours the game for me. Like, it's called Winx Club. Don't you want players to be able to step into the shoes of their favorite Winx member like they've always dreamed of doing?
Well, no.
If you're trying to do everything, the game will probably only last you like 5, maybe 6 hours, and it's even shorter if you're just burning through it. Ultimately, it's just an okay game, but the fact that it is still the closest thing to my ideal Winx game depresses me so deeply. Now, the Game Boy version of the game is basically just the PC game, but with pixel art, but somehow even shorter. I do generally enjoy pixel art styles, so there is a lot of charm here, but sadly, environments are usually just very uninspired large rooms or open spaces. And you know, I have to admit, I'm not really a big fan of this art style. I don't like the weird chibi heads that they have. Bloom's, it looks wrong. She looks like a a weird fish person. It's not right. I don't know, I think Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, like the Game Boy version, I wasn't really big on it when I was a kid. Fuck that card system. But the art style was really good. I think they adapted that really well for the pixel art style. And I think something like that for Winx would have looked a lot better. Especially for the fashion thing. Like, I can't even see the cute outfits that they're wearing in this kind of style. Like, ugh. Combat is mostly the same, but you do get to float around the arena and boss fights. It doesn't mean much, but I guess it's there. The story is also largely the same with the same levels, though there is one weird change after the Red Fountain section. In the PC version, Bloom immediately goes to Gardenia, where you fight Darcy and Stormy, and then the Tricks steal the Dragon Flame, leaving you to throw snowballs in the following level on Sparks. You do get your powers back by the end of that level, but it at least echoes that arc of Bloom being without her magic for the final stretch of Season 1. In the Game Boy version, though, Darcy and Stormy, they're not a boss. Well, I mean, like, they're part of the final boss, but, like, you don't fight them in Gardenia. Instead, after you knock the shit out of Diospro, you're teleported right to Alfea, where Farragonda informs you that somehow the Tricks caught a spark of Bloom's dragon flame. Okay? Were they in the stands at Red Fountain catching stray sparks as Bloom was beating the ever-loving shit out of Diospro? I expected this to be a pretty charming game, but overall it's just blech. You can breeze through it even faster than the PC version. At the very least, there is this iconic scream where Bloom falls into a dark chasm on Sparks. Always warms my brittle, shriveled little heart. Now, if you will allow me to indulge my delusive dreaming, I'd like to talk about what my ideal Winx Club game would look like.
Oh, God.
And surprising none of you, it would be one that takes notes from the Tales of series, with a character-driven story allowing you to play as any of the main cast, battling your way through this story, exploring different fantastical worlds and cities, and enjoying an original story loosely inspired by the source material. Look, I grew up on Kingdom Hearts and Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper and Spyro and all that other shit. What do you want from me? Given Winx Club has a large cast, a JRPG-inspired approach makes a lot of sense to me. Here, you would have each of the Winx making up your party of 6. Assuming we're going for the real-time combat of the Tales series, you would encounter an enemy in the overworld, then be transitioned into an arena just for combat, where 4 of your party will work together to battle a group of enemies. And of course, each Winx would translate to your traditional character classes. Or perhaps a mix. Bloom could be a brawler type of character with her dragon flame magic, but also a healer, assuming, we remember that Season 2 exists. Flora could be a tank focused on defense with her vines, Musa could be good for handling large groups with instrument-themed attacks, and so on. And of course, they would be transformed for these battles. Tales games also feature skits, which are little 2D cutscenes that let the characters have conversations with each other outside of battle. They can be about anything, whether it's their thoughts on the plot, emotional confessions and discussions, backstories, or just what everyone's favorite food is.
Then does that make you a cat person, Aizen?
Actually, I like squirrels best.
Okay.
Winx fans, I think, would adore this as a way to spend more time with their favorite fairies in ways that they just couldn't in a show with only 22-minute episodes.
What about you, Velvet? Cats or dogs?
Dogs. They don't betray you.
You always have to be so serious, don't you?
And of course, fashion can still play a role. In Tales games, you get to customize your characters with unique outfits and accessories. Sadly, modern Tales games have locked most of these costumes as DLC, and I don't think Rainbow, the greedy bastards they are, would pass up that opportunity. But ideally, I would prefer costumes and accessories to be unlocked through side quests. Imagine being able to dress the Winx in all of the outfits they have ever had. Even their fairy outfits outside of battle. Perhaps you could give them a certain outfit for battle and then another outfit they have all the time. You could even reverse it so that they're always transformed and then in battle they're in their civilian outfits just to make it weird. Now, what I would love is the ability to explore the magic dimension. It is such a unique, expansive setting, and I would love the chance to explore every nook and cranny myself. Alfea can serve as the hub, of course, letting us explore the Winx dorm, the cafeteria, all the halls, and the exterior. I'm still really mad that the official PC game never let us explore Alfea's quad. Like, what the fuck? And moreover, I would appreciate areas and dungeons being freely explorable levels rather than linear ones. Not open world, but more akin to the level design found in Sly Cooper or Kingdom Hearts games. I'd really like to visit the cities and towns of Solaria or Andros, and then have the oceans of Andros or the forests of Linfea as dungeons filled with monsters. And as for plot, I would prefer not having a recap of the story from the show. Instead, I would prefer an approach akin to Sailor Moon: Another Story. I've never played it myself, but to my knowledge, it is an original story and JRPG that uses elements of the first 3 story arcs. Perhaps something is going on that forces the Winx to face familiar foes, like the Trix, Darkar, and Valtor, all tied together by an original threat. Perhaps it could be set sometime after The Secret of the Lost Kingdom, with the Winx dealing with their first crisis as full-fledged guardian fairies. It'll never happen, I know, but I like to dream. Anyhow, thank you for listening to all my nonsense.
Take me now, Lord.
I just want fun, nice things, including a good Winx Club game, and sadly, the universe has failed to deliver one that I can fully sink my teeth into. At the very least, I hope y'all have enjoyed my ramblings. Maybe I'll try out some of the other games and make videos about them. I doubt I'll enjoy them, but maybe y'all will like that so you can be amused by my suffering. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this from me, then be sure to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications because YouTube hates creators. And if you're willing and able, please consider pledging your support for myself and the channel over on Patreon. I'm the Unicorn of War, and the Winx Club games are high-key a goddamn shit show.